Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our discussion today. We are going to talk about something many of us enjoy: reading. Specifically, we're asking the question, are physical paper books better than digital ebooks? It's a topic that many people have strong feelings about. To help us explore this, we have two guests with different views. Please welcome Arthur, who believes in the special quality of traditional paper books. And please welcome Chloe, who prefers the convenience of modern ebooks. Arthur and Chloe will each start with an opening statement to explain their position. After that, they will have a chance to respond to each other's points. We will also have a short time for them to ask each other questions. Finally, they will give their closing thoughts. We hope to have a friendly and interesting conversation. Let's start with Arthur. Arthur, please tell us why you think physical books are superior.
Thank you, Sarah. It's a pleasure to be here. For me, the answer is simple. A real physical book is much more than just words on a page. There is a special joy in holding a book in your hands. You can feel the weight of it, the texture of the cover, the smoothness of the paper, and the smell. That unique smell of paper and ink, especially in older books, is wonderful. It connects you to the book in a way a cold electronic device cannot. Also, I find that reading a physical book helps me concentrate much better. When I read on paper, it's just me and the book. There are no notifications popping up, no easy way to quickly check emails or social media. This helps me to go deeper into the story or the subject. Reading for a long time on a screen can make my eyes tired, even with special e-readers. The light from the screen can be uncomfortable after a while. Reading a paper book under natural light or a simple lamp feels much more gentle on the eyes. Then there is the idea of ownership. When you buy a physical book, it's yours. You can put it on your shelf, build a personal library that shows your interests in your reading journey. You can see the collection grow. You can lend it to a friend easily. It feels permanent, like a real possession. And let's not forget the simple pleasure of turning the pages. Feeling how far you've read, seeing the bookmark move through the book, it's satisfying. It's a physical marker of your progress. So for all these reasons, the feeling, the focus, the comfort for the eyes, the true ownership, and the simple physical interaction, I believe paper books offer a superior reading experience. They are objects of beauty and connection, not just tools for reading.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Arthur, for sharing your thoughts. I understand the romantic feelings about physical books. I really do. However, I believe that ebooks offer so many practical advantages that make them the better choice for many people today, including myself. The biggest advantage is convenience. Think about portability. With an e-reader, or even just my phone or tablet, I can carry hundreds, even thousands of books with me. My entire library fits into my bag, and it weighs almost nothing. This is absolutely perfect for commuting, for traveling, or even just moving around the house. Imagine going on holiday and wanting several books. Carrying physical copies would be heavy and take up space. With ebooks, it's no problem at all. Another huge benefit is instant access. If I hear about an interesting book, I can buy it and download it in seconds, anytime, anywhere, as long as I have an internet connection. I don't need to wait for a bookshop to open or for a delivery to arrive. Ebooks also come with incredibly useful features. If the text is too small, I can make the font bigger. This is a fantastic help for people with vision problems. If I don't know a word, I can just tap on it and get a definition instantly from the built-in dictionary. I can also search the entire book for a specific word or phrase, which is very helpful for studying or finding a quote. These features make reading easier and more interactive. Arthur mentioned eye strain, but modern e-readers often use e-ink technology, which looks very similar to paper and doesn't have a harsh backlight. Many also have adjustable brightness and warm light settings for comfortable reading at night. Finally, there's an environmental point to consider. While producing e-readers has an impact, think about all the paper, printing, and transport involved with physical books over time. E-books might be a more sustainable option in the long run, reducing the need for paper. So while I appreciate the charm of physical books, the practicality, portability, instant access, helpful features, and potential environmental benefits make ebooks a superior choice for the modern world. They make reading more accessible and convenient for everyone.
Thank you, Chloe, for presenting the case for ebooks. We've heard strong opening arguments from both sides. Now we move to the rebuttal section, where each speaker can respond to the points made by the other. Arthur, you have the first opportunity to respond to Chloe's arguments.
Thank you, Sarah. Chloe makes some interesting points about convenience, but I must disagree on some key aspects. Chloe emphasizes convenience and portability. Yes, carrying many books on one device is practical, I agree, but is reading only about convenience? I believe the quality of the experience is far more important. The slightly slower, more deliberate process of reading a physical book encourages deeper engagement, not just quick information access. You mentioned useful features like search functions and built-in dictionaries. While these can be helpful sometimes, I worry they can also be distracting. The temptation to look up every word or search for related things can pull you out of the flow of reading. It can make reading feel more like browsing the internet than losing yourself in a story. It fragments the attention, which is the opposite of what deep reading should do. Regarding eye strain, Chloe mentioned e-ink screens. It's true they are better than older screens. However, many people still read on tablets or phones with backlit LCD screens, which definitely cause more eye fatigue than paper. And even e-ink requires some form of light, often built in, which isn't the same as the gentle reflection from a paper page under natural light. The point about ownership is also important. Chloe talked about digital libraries, but do you really own an ebook file in the same way you own a physical book? Often, you're buying a license to read the file, which can depend on the company, the device, or the software. The company could theoretically remove access. You can't easily lend it in the same personal way, or sell it when you're done. A physical book on your shelf is truly yours, independent of technology or companies. So while ebooks offer practicality, I maintain that physical books provide a richer, more focused, and more genuinely owned reading experience that technology cannot fully replicate. The connection is deeper.
Thank you, Arthur. Chloe, now it's your turn to respond to Arthur's points.
Thank you, Sarah. Arthur raises some valid concerns about the reading experience, but I think the reality of e-reading is often different. Arthur suggests the physical book experience is simply different, and for many, equally enjoyable or even better. Modern e-readers with e-ink screens, as I mentioned, are designed specifically to mimic paper. They are lightweight, easy to hold, and the reading experience can be very immersive, especially without the distractions Arthur fears. Many readers find they get just as lost in a story on an e-reader. Regarding eye strain, the adjustable settings on e-readers are a key advantage. You can change the font size, the line spacing, the brightness, and even use warm light settings, which significantly reduces eye fatigue for many people, especially those reading in low light. This level of customization isn't possible with a printed book, where the format is fixed. Arthur questioned digital ownership. While the model is different, for most users it functions like ownership. My digital library is accessible across my devices through the cloud. It's backed up, so I won't lose my books if a device breaks. While lending might be different, some platforms allow limited lending, and the ease of buying means friends can get their own copy instantly. It's a practical form of ownership suited to a digital age. And let's not forget accessibility again. The ability to adjust text size and use text-to-speech features opens up reading to people who struggle with standard print books. This is a huge benefit that physical books cannot easily offer. So while physical books have their charm, ebooks provide a flexible, comfortable, and highly accessible reading experience that fits perfectly with modern lifestyles and needs. Convenience doesn't have to mean a lesser experience. It often means a more inclusive one.
Thank you both for those responses. Now we have a short time for cross-examination. Each speaker can ask the other a few questions. Arthur, would you like to begin by asking Chloe some questions?
Yes, thank you, Sarah. Chloe, you highlighted the convenience of e-readers, but these devices are not free. What about the initial cost? A good e-reader can be quite expensive. compared to a single paperback book, which is much cheaper. Isn't this a barrier for some people? Also, you rely on technology. What happens when the battery dies unexpectedly, or the software has problems, or the device just breaks? A physical book never runs out of battery or needs an update. And one more thing, you mentioned finishing books. Is the feeling of swiping to the last digital page really as satisfying as closing the cover of a physical book you've just finished? That sense of completion with a physical object?
Chloe, please respond to Arthur's questions.
Those are fair questions, Arthur. Regarding the cost of the device, yes, there is an initial investment for an e-reader. However, many ebooks are cheaper than their physical counterparts, especially classics, which are often free or very low cost. Over time, for someone who reads a lot, the cost can balance out. Plus, you can read ebooks on devices many people already own, like smartphones or tablets. About technical issues. Yes, like any electronic device, they can have problems. Batteries need charging, but e-reader batteries often last for weeks, not hours. Software issues are possible, but not extremely common with good devices. Physical books can also be damaged by water or tearing, for example. Both formats have risks. As for the satisfaction of finishing, it might be different, but it's still satisfying. Seeing, quote, 100% on the screen, closing the app, or turning off the reader gives its own sense of accomplishment. Perhaps it's less ceremonial than closing a cover, but the feeling of finishing the story is definitely still there.
Thank you, Chloe. Now, Chloe, do you have any questions for Arthur?
Yes, Sarah. Arthur, you spoke beautifully about building a personal library you can see and touch. But where do you put all these books? Physical books take up a lot of space. For people living in smaller apartments or who move frequently, isn't storing a large collection of physical books a real problem? And related to that, you mentioned lending books, which is nice. But what about traveling? How practical is it to carry, say, 3 or 4 thick novels on a trip? Isn't that heavy and inconvenient? Finally, you talked about deep reading. If you need to quickly find a specific piece of information or a quote you remember reading in a long physical book, how easy is that compared to a simple digital search? Doesn't that take a lot more time with paper?
Arthur, please respond to Chloe's questions.
Thank you, Chloe. Good points to consider. Space can certainly be a challenge for book lovers, I admit. But managing a collection is part of the joy for many. Bookshelves can be decoration too. People find ways. Maybe they curate their collection more carefully, or use libraries more. It encourages thoughtful choices about what books you truly want to keep. As for travel, yes, carrying multiple heavy books isn't always easy. Often, when traveling, I might choose just 1 or 2 special books carefully. Or perhaps use the library at my destination. It forces a choice, which isn't always bad. Maybe it helps you focus on one book more deeply during the trip. Regarding finding information. Yes, a digital search is faster for finding a specific word. But the process of searching manually through a physical book can also be valuable. You might rediscover other interesting passages along the way. It encourages you to re-engage with the text physically. It depends on why you're searching. For quick facts, digital wins. For rediscovery, maybe paper has an advantage.
Thank you, Arthur and Chloe. That concludes our cross-examination. Now it's time for the closing statements. Each speaker will have a short time to summarize their main points. Arthur, please give us your closing statement.
Thank you, Sarah. Throughout this discussion, I've highlighted why physical books offer something truly special. It's about the unique sensory experience. The feel, the smell, the weight in your hands. It's about the focused reading environment they encourage, free from digital distractions. It's about the genuine, lasting ownership of a physical object that becomes part of your personal history and home. Physical books have a timeless appeal. They connect us to centuries of reading tradition. In the end, I believe books are more than just containers for words. They are physical objects with their own character and soul. That's why, for me, the experience of reading a paper book remains superior. Thank you, Chloe, for the debate, and thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Arthur. Chloe, please give us your closing statement.
Thank you, Sarah. Today I've argued for the practical power of ebooks. Their incredible convenience and portability allow us to carry whole libraries wherever we go. The instant access means we can start reading new books immediately. Helpful features like adjustable fonts, dictionaries, and search functions make reading easier and more accessible, especially for those with specific needs. Modern e-readers offer comfortable reading experiences that rival paper for many. Ebooks fit seamlessly into our busy, mobile, modern lives. While physical books have their place, ebooks make reading more possible, more often, for more people. They represent a positive evolution in how we access stories and information. Thank you, Arthur, for the discussion, and thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, Arthur and Chloe, for sharing your perspectives in this thoughtful and interesting discussion. You've both made excellent points, highlighting the unique benefits of both physical books and ebooks. It seems clear that there isn't one single answer for everyone. The best choice often depends on the individual reader, their situation, and perhaps even the type of book they are reading. Maybe there's room for both formats in our lives. Thank you once again to our speakers, and thank you to our audience for listening.